Hi, this is Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. I'm also the founder of hashtag Wellbeing Philosophy. Today we're going to talk about trauma. And what I want to talk about is the collective traumatization that's been occurring for the past 12 months for every single Homo sapien. We're now much more aware of the fact that our bodies and our minds do not operate separately. We act in certain realms like medicine as though they're not the same, but they are in fact the same. So let's see what I can do here just to have everything work. I'm trying to keep from all of the lights glaring and got a little shoulder situation. Here's what's going on in an Unspoken Voice by Peter Levine. If you know trauma, you know Peter. Now, some of what needs to be talked about is the fact that emotions are necessary. The whole limbic brain, it's the middle part of our brain. All mammalian animals have emotions. They don't necessarily express them through speech, and they express them through physical changes of shaking and tremoring and all sorts of wonderful physiological responses to life in the wild. We've been socialized, especially people in the concentric circles around somebody who's in her early 50s, the years that I've been alive as a citizen of the US of Hypocrisy, who is globally focused, who has traveled, had a career that involved traveling, and ended up being a hermit for all of my 40s because of the fear states of environmental pollution. Now, this is difficult to unpack. Let me tell you something. You gotta be Sherlocking human health, because we are ignoring the trauma of having poor air quality. We know when we're hungry and thirsty. How has it escaped the notice of medical science that we have a great deal of mechanisms, of alarms and sensitivities to the quality of our air? Now, first things first, we have sort of let our sense of smell fade away. We know animals have stronger sense of smell than we do, but we don't even have a lexicon of talking outside of enology, the science of wine tasting. I mean, we don't really even talk about scents. The chemical scents in most personal products, and not just grooming products, but household products. These things, you are layering on 57 different scents every day. And very likely, many of you have stopped breathing through your nose because you have all these sensitivities, but you don't actually have the language or the language of our culture or the time with yourself to notice what causes all of these symptoms and triggers is the grossly oversaturated scent. It's layered and layered and layered throughout our lives, everywhere we go. On top of the byproducts of combustion, the hyper exhaust of being in a commute situation. And then you have to walk through the moat of the cigarette smokers now standing underneath the signs saying it's not legal to stand there and smoke. You get past that moat, you get locked in an elevator with dryer sheets and 5 different kinds of cologne and fragrance and moisturizer. Before I'd even get to my desk in the morning, when I had to run a payroll affecting money in the bank for 10,000 people, I was knocked the fuck out by smells. And I deadened those reactions. And I couldn't find anyone to listen to me about how severe those reactions were. And I had no leg to stand on. I was a consultant. They were gonna listen to me. I didn't have the rights of an employee to be going to security and saying, you've got to stop people smoking under the do not smoke signs. The fuck are the signs for if nobody, and I've never seen anyone of any official uniformed quality, whether this is just a building security guard or a police, I've never seen anyone. The only people policing the do not smoke are citizens, which causes nothing but abuse to come at you. When you're trying to have the right of clean air, let me tell you, people will try to take you out. You get very triggered, and I will, as honestly, where the redheaded She-Hulk originally came from, is I would just go Lou Ferrigno. When I had all of this pressure of this work that was not fulfilling to me in any way, I had no humans to play with, to process anything, and I needed to do my work, and there are motherfuckers just fogging up the entrance to the buildings. I wouldn't go out to lunch because I wanted to avoid excess crosses of the moat of smoke, excess opportunities to be entombed in an elevator with really over-scented people. In our lexicon, we're like, that smells nice or bad. Nice smells can be just as toxic, sometimes more toxic. The nicest, the pleasantry of the smell, although at this point, my body is like, no smell is pleasant. The only smell I like is the smell of life. Real stuff, not chemically scented stuff. My reactions to smell are so bad, I spent my whole life not talking. It happened very early in my childhood. Now, pretty much certain that there was a mold exposure sometime in my early days that, coupled with the complete lack of touch, there I go, fully embodied. Complete lack of touch for the first 17 years of my life, but not in a cold way, not in a like anyone, like it was just not in my community of origin. I had no idea humans touched. No idea. So I didn't have any of no fear in the ways we would think of it. But when I first started to do contact improv with a neighbor here, and it was a very, very, very safe and secure people I'd known for a year, a husband and wife, and we'd established a rapport, and it was simply just sort of rolling forearms. I would be like, and then it's like there was no wiring. I didn't know what came next. I didn't know how to process it. There was too much. New neuronal wiring needed. It is very much not something that happens in adult humans, outside of when we very specifically choose to put ourselves in awkward learning environments. Like, I'm just going to learn to rollerblade. I know I'm scared. I know I'm going to fall on my ass. We will, well, you know, I'm going to break my leg. I'm only falling from normal height. You know, my ass is pretty well padded. I could get some, you know, knee and shin protectors. I can, you know, when we don't get these feelings of what it feels like to kids, when you're got all this new input and you sort of you don't have anything to say. You sort of get in this place of arrest. So one of the things, and I hadn't highlighted this before, but now I know, is, you know, we've got fight and flight. And then I've been sort of harping on the fight, flight, or freeze. It's actually, he says, the 1A and the 4 Fs. And the 1A is arrest, comes first. There is this sort of hyper knowingness that you need to be assessing the environment a lot more dramatically than you were a second ago. You don't even have to know why. You see, the arrest is really key because that sets up chronic disease. If you aren't aware that the quality of the air is not just out in the faraway atmosphere, that if you aren't aware that we have excess carbon in our near-in air that we breathe, there's no border between the atmosphere and the air you're breathing right now. And you have a biofield, 6 feet torus around your body of electrical communication, mostly heart magnetic waves, but some brain electrosmog is out here. They take these off because these glasses have created these glasses, wearing these fucking reading glasses, which I take on and off. So I only wear them so I don't squint at very small screens. So I've not gotten worse in the least bit. Nothing, I constantly, the rest of the world is perfectly clear except for screens. And sometimes text. So I'm getting much better. But the thing is you don't force it, you don't strain it. What I've discovered is, and take a look at these bags under my eyes. Related, that there is a postural kink somewhere up here between my neck and my eyes. We don't speak about how human bodies operate, and kids just absorb it, but they absorb what's in the environment. And if the environment is now going to be all adults hunched over at screens, our kids are losing every single micron out of postural alignment of your back, your spine. Your spinal cord is the full bandwidth of your whole entire body, brain, efferent communication network, which also operates in the biofield surrounding you. So it's both and plus. It's the electrical circuit, the efferent body to brain. But then those circuits are not as literal as we take it to be, because there are also circuits out into the biofield. First of all, we've all experienced this truth. Chemistry is much slower than biochemistry, slower than bioelectricity. My whole life's work is establishing we need a Nobel Prize in bioelectricity. I'm gonna be the first philosopher to establish a new kind of Nobel Prize. You know, see, this is. I've never thought, oh, I want to get a Nobel Prize. I've never said, oh, and I might get the peace one now for my work uniting the globe and demonstrating how to use human thinking equipment to understand human thinking equipment. And sorry, I've got both sets of lights on. It's a very awkward place to not. I am what's called an HSP. I am a highly sensitive person. It is 20%. It's a physiological reality. Add that on to all of my specifics as far as being bottle fed as a child, having no recollections of touch in my childhood from anyone in my community of origin. So nothing bad happened, but no good data. So the presbyopia and the this and the that and the other thing all started. And I think we can come to a lot of really dramatic. I'd like somebody write a check for $100,000 and let's do some research on everyone that gets presbyopia and how many were bottle fed. Because what I think happens is, gravity and the mechanical force of squeezing a bottle means that the infant isn't in as much control as they are with a breast as far as stopping. There's still a lot of the same efforts to get attention to get the stuff started, but the flow of the nutrition and the infant's ability to stop it much more profoundly human when sucking from a breast than when slurping from a nipple. I think there's got to be some real facial development similarities and lack of facial development. So I'm now very nicely shaped, it's a little bit lower. And so what happens is when we start to see it is there's not a lot, I can't blink this eye. Even when I try, this one always comes first. I can move it, and you can see I struggle to keep this one open. I'm playing with this, so there's more of a knot up here, this muscle, but also this cheekbone. There's more stuff under here. Is it a tight muscle? It doesn't sort of seem like necessarily nasal. I mean, it could be some slight. Could be. There's also a lot more pain here to just plain old touch than on this side. It's not a good profile side. But I'm pretty sure, and again, this is this vertical leading to this horizontal. It's a rare plane on the body, but it is something that adjusts. So one of the things I realized, there's an Ayurvedic doctor on the YouTube who says, double chin. These muscles going. Put a pen and see, I can't, there's still something, which now this is about the sucking. If he could make the pen go up, I've got some range of motion, but not just simple raise the pen up and down, some. So, and then feeling it, and then not forcing it, but just massaging your facial muscles, getting used to it when you're sitting in the bathroom or doing these things. Again, I spend a little bit more time just, because see, this comes over, this squints up, and this comes down. So this, I can't squint this up as much. Okay. This smile, side only smiles when this side smiles. There is nothing going on here, and the eye can't wink. It won't even. It's where the wiring comes from is this eye first. It's very strange. I'm very right side dominant, very, very left brain. And in this eye thing, there's left brain, right brain, they cross over. So they go to the back and then they wire all up in front. How you think is tied to how you see. That's where the next book, Eye Yoga. And you've got your rapid eye movement desensitization of trauma. I think that's it's too wieldy. It's too gamma radiation versus gamma brainwaves. This seems too complex. I mean, there's some certainly, not saying it's incorrect. I'm just saying it seems to me it can be easier. So the work of being a well-being philosopher should not be ignored, not be in an unspoken voice any longer. Talking through, thinking about how we think about being human, talking about the fear, the trauma, the pandemic isolation is going to alter our civilization completely. The Global Wellness Summit, research think tank, has established that there is a $121 billion market for mental well-being. Right now, that's going to all go to culturally appropriating white women. Who've memorized and repeat teachings from the great yogis or the old, Tai Chi masters, Qigong masters, the Buddhist meditations. How can I express how deeply grateful we should all be to those ancestors? While saying, what's even more important is if you don't think that the one man was so special, is that you see how to unite the interconnectedness of all of these modalities. I myself really prefer African. I don't even know what it is. I'm having to sort of guess and fill it in, but I'm certain when I get myself to a place where I can pay some African ancestral healers, some of the shamanism practices, a great deal of the somatic re-experiencing, that's Peter's term, somatic re-experiencing, the rituals of adolescence, of becoming a man or a woman, the community, the way they West Side storied everything out, get together at night as a community and dance and express both the sort of communal frustration that it's a dry season, it's a pandemic. Like, we have to express these things communally. Cross-reference good solutions and bad solutions, knee-jerk reactionary responses to really thoughtful, astute, intelligent, transitional responses. We need to learn to think philosophically. This has been Deb Helfrich, #wellbeingphilosophy. I'm the #redheaded She-Hulk, and I know how to demonstrate gamma brainwaves. Harmony, y'all.